Story, The Wind and the Sun. Once upon a time, the wind and the sun argued about who was stronger. The wind boasted, "No one can resist my force." The sun smiled gently and replied, "Yet sometimes warmth is stronger than strength." They agreed to put it to the test. Below them, a traveler walked along the road wearing a thick cloak. "Whoever makes him remove his cloak shall be the winner," declared the wind. The wind went first. He blew fiercely, shaking trees and scattering leaves. But the traveler only pulled his cloak tighter around himself. The wind grew angrier and blew harder, but the man clutched his cloak stubbornly. Then it was the sun's turn. He shone softly at first, then warmer and warmer. The air grew pleasant, and the traveler began to sweat. Finally, smiling, he removed his cloak. The wind sighed in defeat. And the sun said kindly, "Gentleness can achieve what force cannot." Moral of the story. This story teaches us that gentleness and kindness can be more powerful than harshness and force. Story, The Mouse and the Frog. Once upon a time, there was a house mouse and a frog who lived near a pond. They often met and talked, becoming friends. One day, the frog said slyly, "You should stay with me in the pond. We can play in the water all day." The mouse shook his head. "I prefer the land. I'm not fond of water." But the frog was stubborn. He tied the mouse's leg to his own with a vine. "Now you cannot escape me," he laughed. The frog leapt into the water, dragging the mouse along. The mouse struggled desperately, splashing, but soon water filled his nose and mouth. At last, he drowned. Not long after, a hawk flew overhead. It saw the drowned mouse floating, tied to the frog. The hawk swooped down, seizing the mouse and carried the frog with it. The frog perished, caught in the fate he had set for another. Moral of the story. This story teaches us that keeping bad company or following the deceitful may lead us to our own ruin. Story, The Stag and the Hunter. Once upon a time, a stag went to drink from a clear pond. As he gazed into the water, he admired the reflection of his great, branching antlers. "They are so beautiful," he thought, "surely everyone must envy me." But when he looked down at his thin legs, he frowned. "These legs are so ugly and weak, unlike my glorious horns." Just then, whoosh, an arrow flew past. A hunter had spotted him and aimed his bow. The stag bolted in fear, racing into the forest. His slender legs carried him swiftly through the trees. He almost escaped the hunter's pursuit. But as he dashed into thick bushes, his antlers became tangled in the branches. He struggled and pulled, but the harder he fought, the tighter he was caught. The hunter drew closer step by step. The stag sighed, "Alas, what I despised has saved me, and what I prized has destroyed me." Soon after, he met his fate, undone by his vanity. Moral of the story. This story teaches us that what we scorn may prove most useful, while what we admire too much may bring us harm. Story, The Donkey in the Lion's Skin. Once upon a time, a donkey grew tired of being mocked as foolish and weak. One day, he found a lion's skin left behind in the forest. His eyes sparkled. "If I wear this, everyone will fear me." He draped the lion's skin over himself and strode out proudly. The other animals, seeing him, fled in terror. The donkey laughed inside, believing he had become mighty. For days, he enjoyed his disguise. No cow, goat, or sheep dared to come near. He basked in the respect he thought he had gained. But one day, as he paraded, he opened his mouth to bray. The sound was not a lion's roar but a donkey's hee-haw. At once, all the animals realized the truth and burst into laughter. A hunter passing by chuckled and said, "Had you kept silent, you might have fooled us much longer." Ashamed, the donkey lowered his head, learning that truth cannot be hidden forever. Moral of the story. This story teaches us that pretending can only fool others for a time. The truth will always be revealed. Story, The Crow and the Snake. Once upon a time, a pair of crows lived in a tall tree. They built a warm nest and waited for their chicks to hatch. But whenever the eggs were about to hatch, a wicked snake from below the tree climbed up and devoured them. The crows were heartbroken, but powerless to stop it. One day, the male crow devised a clever plan. He flew to a wealthy man's house and snatched a golden bracelet. Then he returned and dropped it near the snake's hole. When the man saw the crow fly away with his bracelet, he chased after it. Finding the treasure near the snake's hole, the man dug to retrieve it. The snake was discovered and killed. From that day on, the crows were safe, and they raised their chicks in peace. Moral of the story. This story teaches us that wit and cleverness can overcome brute force. Story: The Dog and the Bell. Once upon a time, there was a dog that often attacked and bit other animals in the village. Tired of this, his owner decided to give a warning to everyone. He tied a bell around the dog's neck. Now, whenever the dog ran, the bell jingled ding-a-ling. Hearing the sound, people quickly moved away, and no one was harmed. But the dog thought the bell was a special ornament of honor. He strutted proudly through the village. "Look at me, I'm the most special dog. Everyone hears me when I come." He felt proud, never realizing the truth. At last, an older dog came up to him and said, "Foolish one, the bell you wear is not a sign of honor. It is a mark of shame, warning others that you are dangerous." The dog then realized that boasting of disgrace is nothing to be proud of. Moral of the story. This story teaches us that one should never take pride in what is a mark of shame.